guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a review on the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Dino Thunder Black Ranger. I'm super excited about this figure. When it first announced, instantly pre-ordered it, so now that it's finally here, I'm excited to get it open and let you guys know what I think. So on the front, we do get the standard windowless packaging. You get a picture of the figure itself as well as a promo pic of the character. On the side, you get that same kind of promo pic right there. I like that picture. I don't think that's from anything from the show. Might just be like a rendering. And then you get, again, about the figure, what he comes with, how tall he is. He's actually, if you notice, a little bit taller than the standard Lightning Collection figures. Normally, they're about 6 inches, I want to say. So I think that's pretty interesting, that he's a little bit taller. And then again, you get a promo pic of the figure itself. And then on the side, you just get some information again about the character. So with that being said, guys, let's get into it. Alright, so this is how the figure looks outside of the packaging. As you can see, he does come with the unmasked Tommy head sculpt right off the bat. And I will say that I really do like the gold on this figure. Sometimes you'll see figures that'll be gold and it's more of like a yellowish color. For instance, Goldar was more of a yellow than a gold. But this figure, I gotta say, does have the actual gold and it looks really, really nice. I'm glad that they did the touch on that. And just from seeing the figure itself, all the details, everything looks really good. I can definitely feel that they gave this figure some extra love and attention. As you may know, Jason David Frank passed away earlier this year, I believe it was earlier this year. And this may well be the final Lightning Collection version of this figure we get, or I should say of the character we get. So if this is the final Lightning Collection one, this is probably a good way to kind of send him off and show the character respect and love. The only other way that I could see us possibly getting a Jason David Frank is if they give us like Power Rangers the movie figures, which could be a possibility. Or maybe if they did, I know they just released Turbo, or they announced Turbo, I should say, but with TJ as the head sculpt, they could do maybe something with like a Tommy head sculpt too, because he was Turbo Red for a little bit of time. But nonetheless, this looks really nice. I really like the figure itself. This version of Tommy is the Tommy with the, the soul patch? He does have short hair, so that's pretty interesting itself. And in terms of the accessories, he does come with his Brachio staff, which I will say, compared to other Lightning Collection releases, this is painted really well. I do notice that it is kind of warped. And I believe in the promo pictures itself of the figure, the Brachio staff was warped as well. And I believe this tip should be gold as well, if I remember correctly. If it is, it's kind of strange that they painted everything else gold, but then left out this. I feel like they could have just went ahead and did it, right? I mean, that's kind of strange, but I will say I'm very surprised at how well the gold painting on the Brachio staff looks. Let me see if I can get it to focus. It's focusing with my finger, but yeah, it looks really good. And then he does come with, of course, the painted head sculpt right there. Looks really nice. You do get the purple highlights on the helmet, which is very accurate. And then I believe this is showing up as more like a purple, but I believe it's red. If you kind of see it in certain angles, it's actually red. And then you do get a left fisted hand as well as a right open palm hand. So it's pretty interesting itself. I wish that they could have did the gold, but I know that Lightning Collection's not doing that. And then you do get his energy effect for the sword. And this is how the figure looks with the helmet attached. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have seen reviews where people did say that the helmet did fit a little bit loose. where it doesn't necessarily click on it, it's kind of loose. This one, I feel from my what I was expecting, this is definitely a much tighter fit. You can hear it kind of like it's on there, but it didn't click. But one thing I noticed is that about the neck, like if you try to put it down, well, I guess it went down right there. But like it has a tendency to just kind of, if you see it, to just kind of spring back up, which is a little bit annoying to say the least. And he actually does have the older style head joints. It's not like the newer style where this is on a ball peg and it kind of, you know, it's all one piece and it just kind of swivels. So this is the older style neck peg. So that was an interesting touch. And then he also doesn't have the pinless stuff, so which leads me to believe that this is an older style figure. And then one thing that I also did hear about was that the legs were a little bit loose. They are a little bit loose, but it's not that bad. As you can see, like I don't think he has the drop down, and if he does, it's not as bad. You know me, I'm a big critique of the drop down hips. I'm not a big fan of those at all, but I'm glad to see that this figure itself is nice. It looks to be at an older body mold. All right, so like I previously mentioned, we do have the neck joint, which is pretty standard. Just hinges up and down. Don't really get any tilt, but he does go left and right. If you guys are looking to remedy this, I do recommend getting some silicone shock oil. Putting a little bit helps get rid of like the friction you can hear. Any tight joints, highly recommend it. Shout out to D Amazing. He definitely put me onto that, and I love it. It works miracles. You have the shoulder pads, which are connected. Nice touch. He does get a nice range. You get the butterfly joint. Get the bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. And one thing I will say is I really like that these hinges are really nice. They're not, you know, they don't get stuck on you. It has a really nice range of movement. You do get the ab crunch with the diaphragm. This is nice. I really like it so far. You don't get the drop down hips, but he does kick out really far. Really nice. He does get the thigh swivel. You get the double jointed knees, boot rotation, hinge up and down, and ankle pivot. Now, if you are concerned about these hip joints being loose, and if you do have what I use Kiki, which is kind of like joint tightener, so to speak. You can use that. Put a little bit on there and just kind of wiggle it around so it stiffens up the joint, so that way you can kind of don't have to worry about being loose. Now, for me personally, this one is just fine. I don't have any problems with it. If it was, I did it on my Time Force Blue, and it works pretty well. Don't have any issues with that one. Okay, one thing I did notice when trying to put in the sword in his hand, it did have a little bit of a difficult time getting into the hand groove. So just keep aware of that. But all in all, everything color-wise, it looks great. This may actually be one of my favorite Lightning Collection ones so far. So to be honest, I'm not the biggest Tommy fan. I was always a big fan of Jason, and I think that's where some of my kind of dislike of Tommy comes in, because as you may know, he kind of took over the Power Rangers, whatever the case may be. But I will say that when I saw this costume in Dino Thunder, this was easily my favorite costume out of the bunch. I know a lot of people consider Dino Thunder to be one of their most favorite seasons, considering it being a legacy season as well. And I agree, it was good. Personally, for me at that time, I wasn't really into Power Rangers as much. Occasionally watch it, but for me, it was just kind of you know, I preferred Ninja Storm the season before it. I really liked that one. It was fun. But, you know, to say the least, this character, or this costume, always kind of resonated to me. And now that we finally have it, we not only finish out our Dino Thunder team, but this is kind of a great way to also kind of, you know, honor Jason David Frank in his passing. Regardless, he, you know, was a great figure in Power Rangers, and he did a lot for a lot of people in the community. and he was definitely someone who was a big avid supporter of the community, regardless of what happened in the past. But that being said, I'm super excited to have this one. Let me know what you guys think. If you're on the fence about this one, I would highly recommend it. There aren't many issues like previous lighting collections, and I think this was just a perfect mold to go with. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Peace.